So I was like, hell yeah. Willie like apologized to me over the phone, said he didn't know. He thought I was gay, even though I was with my girlfriend, even though I've never, whatever. Cause, I just like weird shit or whatever. So he was like, basically I misread the room. So they picked me up, and that's what it says in the lawsuit. And they took me to a Revolt affiliated house. Right. So in the ride over there, it it doesn't feel like it's just me in the back seat, CJ and Willie. It didn't feel like, the band's getting back together. We went through a fight. It just felt very, very weird. We pulled up to this White House, and when we're walking in, we start to walk into the house. And immediately when I walked into the house, I knew something was weird. There was Biggie stuff everywhere, like all Biggie's like posters and like artwork and bad boy shit and everything else. And so these two of Puffy's, and I saw CJ's brother. His name is Josh Rousseau. That's Faith Evans' other son. It's CJ's half brother. Faith has two sons, CJ and Josh. I saw him. He didn't even really like acknowledge me like he normally does. So I was like, okay, this is weird. These two dudes come over, and they put this like COVID, this like one of those weird like COVID masks where they used to have like the um not like the regular that people would wear, um like the full face that people would wear. They're like pulling it over and like, yo, this head's so big, pulling over the. That's what it felt like. At first, I thought it was like a COVID mask, but it was some kind of thing, and it's like covering. They get it to like my stuff, but I could still see like the floor and stuff under my eyes. They pushed me back into this room, and like there's this like ottoman. I fall in the back of the chair, and then Diddy's comes in, and I could hear his voice. I could see his feet, and I'm like trying to look up, through these little cracks, like what's going on. He's like, you, you don't deserve Biggie Smalls. You don't deserve, to be with the Biggie estate. He's just going on and on and on and on and on, right? And like sitting there like tripped out because I was in a home invasion, 2 years prior to that.
Right.
And next thing Diddy is like putting his dick in my mouth, and I'm like, he's grabbing my head, and he's like grabbing the back of my head and like my face type shit. And I thought for sure that I was gonna die at that point because he was angry and yelling, and after all that like ended, CJ and Willie come in the room, and I could tell that CJ was surprised. Maybe I don't know, but he obviously set it up, and then he was like, you know, bro, just smoke this blunt, and like, I just had Diddy's dick in my mouth doing his share a blunt, right? Like, I was like, bro, I just want to go. I want to go. And they drive me back to my hotel. And that was it. That was the last That was the last that I saw them. And I go back to all places, Dallas, right? Because I had people in Dallas, and I stayed at the Statler Hotel. I lived at the Statler Hotel for like 3 months, and I would just stay in my room, and you know, just processing and traumatized. And then I started getting angry. Then I started contacting Faith, and then I started contacting, CJ's, who he calls his dad by the name of Todd Rousseau, Faith Evans' ex-husband, and telling him about, all the that was going on. I reached out to Valletta. I reached out to everybody, and I'm just so pissed off. I was just, totally like, taken advantage of and everything else. And I just snapped. And, they made all these threats and everything else. I tried to get the police involved then. This is before Diddy's arrested, and nobody took it serious. I reached out to Cassie's law firm, Wigdor Law Firm, in 2023, and they wanted to meet with me. But as I was, going to go over to their firm, this is before Cassie came out with their lawsuit and everything else. And obviously there's email records, and obviously this is in discovery and everything else. Driving through Brooklyn and seeing all the Biggie murals and seeing all the Biggie shit and all the Biggie stuff, I was like, nah, man, I can't even do this. And just I started losing projects, I felt blacklisted. I didn't feel blacklisted. I was blacklisted. That project was canceled, which led to my distributor to asking questions, and it just caused all this turmoil, So then I went out of Brooklyn. I moved to, with my girl in Inwood, Washington Heights area, of New York. And I know I jumped around a little bit from, I left Dallas and went to New York. But there was just a lot of shit that happened in between. One of the guys, because we were filming a documentary on the making of this Biggie House album. And we were doing a lot of that in Dallas, Texas. And I just, I didn't have the strength anymore. Everything was done. So all my friends were like, what happened to the Biggie project? Well, this guy that was close to CJ and Willie that I met in Dallas, I went to get some Percocets, and I got some Percocets. I took one, my girl took the other, and next thing I know, she's collapsed on me, and I tried to revive her. I couldn't. The police and ambulance came.
Real life. If that shit ain't real life,
It ain't real life.